Hello, good morning and good afternoon. Welcome to our webinar, Totango's webinar titled Driving Adoption with Customer Success Campaigns. Before introducing today's speakers, I just wanted to go over a couple housekeeping items. First, if you have any questions at all throughout the webinar, go ahead and submit your questions in the bottom left corner of the chat window, and we'll answer the questions in the Q&A in the last 15 minutes of the webinar. If you have any audio issues, please go ahead and close other applications and connect to a landline as it is streaming over your computer. We are recording today's session, and we'll be able to email the recording out to both the attendees and non-attendees today. If you have any questions throughout the session, my name is Christine Paulson, and I would be happy to answer them in the bottom left corner of the chat window. So without further ado, again, I'd like to start today's webinar titled Driving Adoption with Customer Success Campaigns. We are excited to have two speakers with us here today. We have Jamey Jeff, Senior Vice President, Customer Success and Operations from TrackMaven, and Maksim Ovsyannikov, Chief Product Officer of Totango. Maksim is actually going to start the presentation and give an introduction to customer success campaigns in a brief demo. And then we'll hand it off to Jamey, who will describe and show how they use customer success campaigns at TrackMaven. And so without further ado, I'll hand it off to Maksim. Maksim?
Wonderful. Hi, everyone. None of you know this, but Christine had to practice pronouncing my last name for a few days, actually. So Christine, amazing job. Amazing job. Thank you so much. Welcome, everyone, again. Nice to see all of you here. See some familiar names as well. Welcome. I thought I would begin just by highlighting why we invested in building customer success communications technology, why we expanded the solution to allow for customer success communications. And then we'll slowly dive into kind of like what really differentiates this from all other solutions on the market. And then we'll go into the demo where I can show you some of the advantages of what we have to offer. So let's begin. You know, it's interesting. If I get in a room with a lot of customer success professionals, and if I ask them, how do you define customer success profession as a function within an organization, I really don't hear one unified answer. That's really not surprising to me because if I change the topic and if I ask them, well, how do you define marketing, right? We also don't hear one sort of specific answer. Probably not because marketing as a function within an organization existed for years, but also because it's changed so much, especially recently. So what I wanted to do is kind of align on, maybe offer you my point of view on how I think about customer success. The first part that I want to talk about, and you see it here on the left, is internal process management. Definitely when you think of customer success, big chunk of what you do, big chunk of what you really care about is streamlining your internal organizational processes to align with your customer success and align with the journey that the customers take with your solution. That's not an easy task, and a lot goes on here, right? The right kind of processes to onboard them, the right kind of processes to enable them to understand the feature, to get them ready to use it, and then be successful with the feature. So this internal process management that really prepares your organization to raise your hand and say, I'm ready to go work with my customers and I know that I will make them successful, is very, very, very important. The second part, and some of you may disagree with me because it's not something that we see a lot, but this second part is all about financial management. And financial management is really understanding how does what I do in customer success impact financial metrics for the organization. Am I responsible for reduction in churn and increase in upsell? Should I be able to forecast renewals? So financial management is a very, very important part of the customer success use case. And we are actually in the middle of a rather important innovation that we'll be showing to you later at another time, where we will be talking a lot about financial management use case and how customer success technology should support it. However, now we'd like to switch to communications and to why communications are so important. If you think about it, customer success communications, right? Everything you do in customer success, every outbound, every solution that you offer is all about making sure that you properly communicate with your customers and then you offer them the right point of view, the right help at the right sort of time. So we knew this, and we knew that the only tool that you use now is email and maybe marketing automation systems, right? Maybe marketing automation systems is also something that you use to send some of the messages to your customers, to explain to them what's going on, to really help them understand. But we thought that this is a very important part of the use case, and we knew that the solution doesn't support it. We knew that the competitors are not doing that well either, and that's why we invested in it. So why customer success campaigns, right? If we look at all kinds of customer communication technologies that you're using in an organization, let's say a support technology where your customers use the channel that you've established in order to report issues with what's going on with the solution, or your marketing communication channel where your marketing team uses it to broadcast different information, none of these are actually built for customer success. And if you want to use a test to sort of understand, is a solution built for customer success versus not, it's very, very easy to ask yourself a very simple question. Does the solution support the stages of customer journey across the entire customer journey that a specific customer has with my organization? And if the answer is yes, then probably the solution was built with customer success in mind. And if the answer is no, then it's not, right? So the marketing communication technology has not been built with customer success in mind because it doesn't specifically support onboarding and doesn't specifically support adoption, expansion, renewal, right? It is a channel that you can use to communicate, but it's a very generic channel, and we'll talk about in a minute about how what we've built is very, very different from these existing communication technologies in the market. If you look around sort of one tool that you can compare customer success campaigns to the most, it is definitely the marketing campaigns. And so we'll spend a few more minutes talking about how Totango's solution compares to the solution that you may be using now, which is probably a solution that your marketing team acquired for the purpose of the marketing success. If you look at Marketo, for example, let's just take Marketo as an example, and I'll sort of take you through these 4 pillars here. In order to target the right customer, you actually need to use data about the customers. And if you look at Marketo, the only kind of data that's available there for these kind of purposes is customer's name, customer's email, and whether or not they unsubscribed. Marketo doesn't offer you any kind of data about whether it's a new customer, whether it's a customer who has done specific activity within your application, whether it's somebody who has requested help. There's no kind of understanding of any kind of engagement along the customer journey in this case. The second important difference is that if you look at the marketing automation tool, what it does really well is it tracks what I call vanity marketing metrics. They're not bad ones, but they're very good ones for the marketing purpose. They're not that good for the customer success purpose. So if you look at your marketing automation tool after you've sent a campaign, what it will do really well is tell you click-through rates, call to action clicks, landing page visits, engagement with the campaign, open rates for your email, unsubscribes, bounce. And so you can use this information to kind of understand, well, did I reach the audience that I wanted to reach, which is a very good marketing question to ask. However, it is not a question that the customer success teams should be asking, right? One of the questions is, of course, like, did I reach the audience that I wanted to reach? But for the most part, the real question is, did the message that I sent that was reached to the audience, did that actual message improve their customer success? That's the real question that you have. And basically, let's say if you're announcing a new feature, the question that you should be asking is not did everybody open the email and not did everybody look at it and maybe viewed the video, right, that you included in it or clicked on the link, but did they actually go and try the feature? Were they successful using the feature? Do they have any questions about the feature? Those are true customer success questions that are not answered in a marketing automation tool. The third one is the one that I already mentioned, right? Look at the tool and really ask yourself, is it built to support my customer journey, right? Am I able to use this tool to actually help nudge the customer to success along the steps of the customer journey? For example, is this a tool that's built for me to welcome a new user in real time and give them useful information? And if they didn't take the 2 or several actions that I prescribed they should in order to be successful, follow up immediately with something more interesting, more engaging, something to still catch their attention while they're in the application to help them engage and help them be successful on day one, right? So is the tool actually built to support actual customer journey within your application? And marketing automation tools are not meant to do that, right? Marketing automation tools are meant to reach an audience and then measure the depth of that reach or the success of that reach, but not to measure anything that's past sort of these kind of metrics. And the last time, real time, right? Using the system that in real time has the data and understands customer success attributes of your users, whether it's engagement within the application, what they're doing, what they're not doing, whether it's other information combined with their financial data, did they pay the bill, whether support data, did they report an issue, with all kinds of other information that's available in these kind of systems, right? Their customer health is another important real-time data that can be used for customer success campaigns, right? So in real time, being able to gain access and use data that is absolutely different than the data that exists in the marketing automation system, which again is only email, a name of the user, and whether or not they have unsubscribed. So let's dive into this a little bit, and let me show you a few things that we have done and explain to you the value, and then at the end we'll definitely have a chance for you to ask some questions associated with it. So since it's a new module in our application, you will now see Campaigns area in the app. This is the first time ever where actual customer success professional using a customer success technology that they bought for their team has access to campaigns. Usually, if you were using a marketing automation tool, you had to go talk to your marketing team. It was not owned by you. And in this case, you're the owner of this, right? So the admin in our application can go and look at the overall stats on this kind of landing page where you see of, how many emails were delivered, how many were viewed, engage, and then goal achieved. And we'll talk in detail about each of these as we build a campaign. So what we're going to do next is actually build a campaign. So let's imagine a use case, and let's kind of follow this use case and build a campaign. Let's say that we are announcing our new feature, this specific feature that we're talking about now, customer success campaigns. And let's say that you are the customer success professional who wants to use Totango to build a campaign to announce customer success campaigns to your customers. So that's what we'll do. All you have to do here is click a button, create a campaign, and what happens next is we know that you're not a marketing automation professional. We know that you're not specifically trained to understand or predict the kind of data that you need to bring with you. So what we do here is we take you through a very easy wizard, 5 steps, 5 very easy steps, and ask you a few questions at each step just to help us guide you in building the right campaign, beautiful campaign, and sending it to your users. In this case, the first step is just simply naming your campaign and describing it. This is not yet naming the title of the email that you'd like to send. This is just for your own information, right? What is this campaign and what is the description of the campaign? So when you go back and you land on that campaign's landing page within our application, you can easily distinguish it from the other ones. Below you see types of campaigns that we're suggesting to you. So again, product built out of the box for customer success to align with your customer journey stages. Are you introducing a new feature? Are you onboarding a user? Are you training somebody? Or you can build your own, right? And we're growing this list to include more. So out of the box, we're offering you some ideas about campaigns that you can run to increase your customer success. In this case, I am going to click right here because I'm introducing a new feature. And so I'll just go to the next step. The next thing that the application will ask is also very unique and very different from the marketing automation system, because marketing automation system also doesn't understand your application. So what this application is asking you, Totango, is what are you introducing? What is the new feature that you're introducing? Tell me, since we understand the entirety of your application and we understand all the features and all the modules that you have in the application. In this case, all you have to do is choose the module called Campaigns, and then it's asking you, is it available now or is it going to become available later, right? So if you want to prepare for a launch in the future, you can definitely click later here, and this is not going to be the campaign that will be activated immediately, or even if you don't have the feature built yet, right, you may not be able to find that feature in the list, so we've accommodated for that use case as well. The reason that we ask you this question is not just so that we can mark somewhere that this campaign is about campaigns, but so that we can really help you measure the goals associated with this campaign. And that's where we're going to go next, actually. Okay, so in the next step, what you will do is decide who you're going to send this to. And this is really, really interesting. This is where true power of our application comes in place, because we understand all of the engagement and we understand all of the other customer success signals around engagement. What happens is it's very easy for us to build a segment of users that's very, very targeted. Very, very targeted. In this case, what I'm doing is I'm applying certain criteria, and I can have this advanced editor right here if I want to engage more with these criteria. But in this case, what I'm doing is I'm applying a set of criteria that only Totango understands. Your marketing automation system doesn't know whether or not someone used the feature. Your marketing automation system may not know whether the customer is a paying customer, and it certainly doesn't know whether or not they were active in the last 90 days. You can provide this information in the form of a list to your marketing automation system, but it simply doesn't have that information out of the box. So what you see here is the ability for you at your fingertips to segment a segment within a campaign and have it very, very targeted, right? Be very wise about it. So if you're sending a new feature introduction, you're probably most interested, right? If you had to focus your efforts on something, you're probably most interested in reaching customers who have not used this feature yet. And if you want to be even more successful, you're going to say to yourself, well, I don't actually may not want to, for this campaign, to address all of my paying customers who haven't used this feature. I want to address all of my paying customers who haven't used this feature and were also recently active, let's say in the last 90 days, right? So they haven't completely forgotten about me. I know that it's not going to go to waste because they log into my application. All I wanted to do is offer them this information about new features. So this is the criteria that I set here. Somebody has been active in the last 90 days, and they have used this feature called Campaigns 0 times, which means that they haven't used it. Okay? What I do next is also really cool, big value proposition for what we have built. And what it does is it forces you to think about the goal, right? What goal do you have when you build this kind of campaign? Why are goals important in this case, right? We said that marketing automation tools can help you report on reach or the engagement of the reach, right? How far did you reach into the list that you have sent the campaign to? But we feel that what's ultimately important for the purpose of customer success is whether or not they did something that you really, really care about. And in this case, we allow you to say easily that the goal, for example, if you're announcing a new feature, that the goal is that you actually used this feature, and you can set a threshold, right? Use this feature at least several times in the frequency that you define, right? So as a result, then, when you look back, and I'll show you in a few minutes when you reach that step, when you look back at the campaign that you've dispatched or sent, you will see whether or not you're successful, not based on just who opened it and who received it, but based on whether or not you've moved the needle for customer success. Okay? Moving on, we also knew, and we knew that from day one, that none of you are product designers. None of you are marketing designers. None of you are graphic designers. So one of the things that we really wanted to make sure that we do well is hand to you a set of tools that allows you to not have to go and seek the designer or not have to go and lay out templates in HTML. And with several clicks, actually choose a beautiful template that is ready for you to add the content. Of course, you still have to do that, add the content that you want to send to your customers, and then push it out, right? So the next step is very important, is understanding what is my email subject, understanding who the sender is. We allow you to send based on who you are in the organization, what your role is, right? So if you want your customers to receive dynamically addressed emails from their customer success manager, which could absolutely improve the open rate, for example, right, and engagement with those emails because they recognize the name of the person that it came from, you would choose a sender to be the customer success manager in this case, and it will come dynamically addressed from their CSM to them so that they're more likely to open it. And then most importantly, it's easy for you to choose the template and then simply change the content in the template. And by the way, if you don't see the one that you like, all you have to do is choose build your own or plain text if you simply want to communicate a basic message that doesn't need to be templatized, right? We support that as well. I am going to go to the next step. This is a key step where you've chosen a template, and now what you're doing is editing content. And so we've built a very, very rich content editor that allows you to not only drag and drop the graphics that you want to use. So for example, you want to drag and drop your logo here. Maybe you want to drag and drop the header here. Maybe you want to link some links or landing pages behind these assets in your email. But also this editor here on the right allows you to change the color, change the size, change the location, place this in a way that really makes it effective, really represents the brand of your customer success for your customer, basically. We're also giving you a lot of interesting insights as you build the campaign. In this case, the system is saying to you that, not all the customers that you are targeting this email to actually have email addresses, right? So that's a good thing to know, because if you're targeting a segment of customers that don't have email addresses, then you can't email them the message that you want to send them. So you can go back, or you can in real time fix these problems, right? For years, marketers and customer success people were kind of playing back and forth with the segment that they wanted to send a message to, testing whether or not they had the right kind of information and the right set of information to actually deliver the message. And finally, there's a tool that in real time gives you feedback about your actual segment size and about what will happen with them. you can insert any kind of wildcards or variables in the message. Some of the key ones are the salutations, right, names, etc. And you can even set up fallbacks, meaning if you want to say, hello, dear, and then name of the customer, and if you don't have a name for one specific customer, you can always set a fallback to say customer. So for a specific user, they will be receiving an email addressed to them by name because you have their name. And for another user, they will be receiving an email that's addressed to them generically, but still very politely. It still doesn't violate, doesn't infringe on the brand of the message or on the clarity of the message that you wanted to send. Another really awesome thing is that anywhere here in the editor and anywhere here, therefore, in the message, we allow you to insert any attributes that we understand about this user or any attributes that we understand about this account. This means that all of a sudden you can not only send very personalized messages, but you can send even more relevant messages to this same audience. For example, if any of you are using tools like Fitbit, or if you're using kind of consumer tools that give you feedback, your weekly progress report, for example, right, at the end of the week or at the beginning of the week, what that actually does is it goes and sends you an email campaign in most of the cases where they gather important information about you as a user and present it to you in a way that makes it interesting to you. You don't have to compose it. Nobody at Fitbit certainly sits and creates, millions and millions of these emails individually. What happens is this tool allows you to embed metrics and attributes about your customer engagement so that you can send them the report scorecard, so that you can send a usage reflection report, if you will, to your buyer or your key user in the organization, so that you can nudge someone who hasn't logged in to come back and do something interesting. By inserting these interesting pieces of data, interesting pieces of information that really, really drive your customer success, really move the needle around this. And I put too many red dots around this slide. As I look at it now, it looks a little red and dotty, but the reason that it looks red and dotty is because it's very important and has a lot of really, really, really cool features in it. One more dot I'm going to place right here on the lower right corner, and that is the ability to preview and send a test message. Right? Again, we're not marketers. We have never done this before. We've never built campaigns. So we want to be certain. We want to know what it looks like. We want to really, really know what it looks like when we receive it. We want to know what it looks like when we receive it and open it in one browser versus the other browser. We certainly want to know what it looks like when we receive it and open it in a mobile device, right? A lot of email is read in a mobile device, right? So we want to make sure it looks good. And so that's a very easy feature here. You click the preview button and it allows you to send a test email. Doesn't impact the campaign at all. And then what happens when you're done, you can enable this campaign, or you can send it later, right? You can save it. You can prepare for these customer success activities that you have. The interesting part is that we support ongoing campaigns, which means that if you, for example, want to support a continuous process where if a certain event occurs, a user should receive a campaign that you have defined, we will support that for the purpose of your customer success. So for example, I want to send a welcome email 5 minutes or within the first 5 minutes after a user joining. That's a very interesting use case, very useful one. So we will support it by allowing you to create an ongoing campaign with a condition that if a new user enters your segment in real time, as happens with our application, we will automatically send them the welcome email. So finally, if your engineering team somewhere is hard coding these and pushing them out to your users, or if you have to build cumbersome data loading integration between your app and your marketing automation tool, or even if you're shuffling files back and forth with this new user information, you can stop doing that, right? You can create an education campaign where if a user tried a new feature that they have never used, you can, with a lot of integrity and clarity send them a message that guides them on some of the best practices around using that feature, right? So all in real time and the ongoing basis. So you can schedule the campaign to be sent now, later, or in the real time on the ongoing basis. And that's about it. That's about it. So what happens is that you can then go back and you can see stats overall for your entire campaign program, or specifically for one campaign. In this case, this is the most interesting number, how many people achieved the goal. In this case, my goal was I want somebody to go and use the module called Campaigns at least 2 times in the 90 days, right? So this is really key. This is something that you can bring back to your management team. This is something that you can bring back and say, hey, this is really working. We're getting people to adopt a new feature. One of the hardest things for SaaS companies, B2B SaaS companies specifically, to do is to move their customers along the journey where they adopt new features. And so never have you had this kind of data which says that this message that was created by customer success, this campaign that was sent, actually moved the needle by increasing the feature adoption, right? So finally, customer success can come and prove the business case by running these campaigns and by measuring goals effectively. This concludes my part. So with this, I will hand this over to Jamey, who will share some interesting stories with us.
Great. Thanks so much, Maksim. Can everyone hear me okay?
Yes.
Excellent. So hi, everyone. This is Jamey Jeff. I'm Senior Vice President of Customer Success and Operations for TrackMaven. TrackMaven is a competitive intelligence platform for digital marketers. I'll start with just giving a little bit of background and context on us, and then I'll move into how we've been using Totango and campaigns in particular here at TrackMaven. So company is a 3-year-old SaaS marketing software company. We're based in Washington, D.C., and are backed by NEA amongst other fantastic vendors. We have the privilege of working with hundreds of top brands and marketers from those companies, roughly about a 50-50 mix of B2B and B2C digital marketers. At a high level, the way that we help our customers is to help them use data to create better content for their marketing. And the way that we do that is by aggregating and collecting all of the content and data that our customers publish, as well as the content and data that their competitors publish across all digital marketing channels. And that really helps us enable them to do 2 main things. One, to identify any one of 130 different marketing metrics, where are they leading, where are they lagging. And then because we also have all of the content, we help them figure out the why. What is it that we are doing that differs from our competitors that is leading us to outperform or underperform? So from a customer success perspective, within the customer success organization at TrackMaven, I'll boil it down to there's 4 main responsibilities that the team has as a whole. One is overseeing the initial onboarding and training processes that our customers go through. Second, really helping to ensure that our customers successfully adopt TrackMaven into their digital marketing practices and workflow, with ultimately the goal of the third point of making sure that our customers are maximizing the value and the return they're getting on their relationship with us. And our team follows a high-touch customer success model, and so we really aspire to be in the role of a trusted advisor with our customers. We really invest in and lean into this mantra at the bottom here of aspiring not just to teach our customers how to use TrackMaven or how to use software, but really being there to help them become better marketers with TrackMaven. It's a subtle wording difference, but results in a significant execution difference on our part that Fortunately, we hear echoed back from our customers that they find that our approach to customer success is significantly different from what they experience from other vendors in the industry. So I'll give you a little bit of a high level on our onboarding process next. Overall, it's about a 6-week process that begins with really focusing on understanding our customers' current state with their digital and content marketing and seeing where they want to head. What does that future state look like to them, and what are their expectations for what they want to get out of their relationship with TrackMaven. Then our onboarding concludes with our first quarterly business review. In between those two bookends, we of the TrackMaven software and how that empowers and accelerates various aspects of their digital marketing efforts. And we follow a validated learning process so that as we're walking through the various stages of onboarding with them, we're able to confirm and leveraging Totango to do so that they are adopting what we've taught them and that they're following the best practices that we advise that they follow. So stepping back just a little bit to give you a little bit of history about the team and where we've evolved and really how Totango Campaigns is helping us as we look forward to the future of our organization. As I said, we just had our 3-year anniversary in August, and customer success as a function is one that we invested in from the very beginning of the company. Our 6th employee is now our director of our customer success mid-market segment. And so from the very beginning, we took the function very seriously. Over the course of last year, we grew to 4 individuals who had customer success in their title, one including myself. And you can see that this year, 2015, has seen significant growth, basically mirroring the growth that we've seen in our customer base as we've scaled the team. One of the things you can also note there is that we've also, as we've grown and scaled, more specialized the way that we segment the team. So we have segmented between a mid-market and enterprise customer success team. We've introduced customer success operations that helps empower those CSMs and dedicated customer support behind the CSMs as well. And so the contrast that I like to paint between where we've come this year heading into next year is this year has very much been around building a solid foundation and focusing on consistent, repeatable execution in our customer lifecycle and in our playbooks. As we head into next year and as we continue to rapidly grow, our focus will be much more on sophistication in the way that we deliver our services broadly and in scalability. While we do have a high-touch model, there naturally is a limit to how much time any individual CSM can invest. And so we want to really make our customer success methods and the way that we engage with our customers a lot more scalable. So that segues then into Totango and where campaigns come into play. So we've been using campaigns. We were part of the beta program for campaigns. We've been a Totango customer for just about 2 years now, and this is one of the feature areas that I've been quite excited about for some time from first learned that they were investing in this area. And I'll get into how we plan to use it in a second, but I'll just echo a lot of what Maksim said earlier on around where we have seen value and where we've seen it as differentiated in terms of or compared to marketing automation. For the ability to really target our communications on a fine-grained basis down to specific users, specific accounts, and more importantly, based on specific behaviors that they have or haven't exhibited within our product, or based on where they are in their journey as a TrackMaven customer. And then secondly, in that flexibility compared to if we were performing some of those functions in marketing automation. We do have a significant investment at TrackMaven in our own marketing automation platform, but having the ability to establish these campaigns just within the customer success organization, be able to create them and modify them and tweak them and edit the copy and those sorts of things on our own independently is a really important aspect for us. So as we were going forward with the process of setting up the campaigns, there's really three main intended uses, and we found an unexpected benefit early on from implementing the campaigns that I'll share in a second. First was really reinforcing our onboarding process. So as we go through that 6-week onboarding cycle with our customers, we're able to automatically follow behind with fully automated and customized messages to support and reinforce the messages that our CSMs are delivering in their training sessions. And we can do that in a way that is aware of where or how far into the onboarding our customers are, but also are they doing the things that we've taught them to do? Are they following the best practices? And if they're not, without any sort of manual intervention, we can help reinforce and keep them or get them back on track to provide them additional information or additional training or additional context for performing those actions. The second, similarly, is in deepening adoption, having come out of the onboarding process. And I like to think of this as an adoption staircase, where as we can see what every individual user across every one of our customers is or isn't doing with TrackMaven, for those who we identify are crawling, we want to get them to walk. And once we get them to walk, we want to get them to run, and so on. And having the power to do that in a very automated automated process, allows our customer success managers then to have some of their time freed up so that when they do have those more direct touch points or contacts with customers, that they're able to engage at a much higher value touch because the automation can help with some of the more tactical aspects. Third then is allowing us to communicate new features across our customer and user base. And I'll talk about how that led to the unexpected point in a second. I'm going to segue in here and just show a couple examples of some campaigns that we're running right now. So the first one is an example of an onboarding campaign. And this is one for a specific feature around tagging content. What we wanted to do here is this is functionality that is taught as a best practice partway through the onboarding process. And so what we want to do is for those users who have performed related functions but haven't used the tagging, we want to encourage them to use tagging. It just and so you can see here just pointing out a couple examples of the data that we get from the campaign. First of all, we can see the open rate, but more importantly, we can really dig into the goal achievement. We're at a 17% goal achievement rate amongst the targeted users. And of those who viewed the email, though, 54% goal achievement rates and 40% of accounts targeted. So I got a message that you guys are having trouble hearing me, so hang on one second, and I will try to switch my phone to make sure that it comes.
Okay, well, while I have him dialing back in, I want to tell everyone about Customer Success Summit 2016. Totango produces one of the largest industry events in customer success, and it's occurring March 21st and 22nd in San Francisco. We wanted to invite everyone on the webinar today to go ahead and join us in March and offering a special promotional code called Campaigns15 that will give you an additional 15% off through Friday, December 11th. It's a great event to learn tons of best practices from real practitioners in customer success, marketing, support, and even the product organizations. So I just wanted to share that with you. Let's see if Jamey's back on the phone. Jamey?
Sorry about that. So as I was saying, with our onboarding campaign, what's really powerful here is that we're able to see that of those who viewed our campaign email, 50% or over 50% of those were able to perform the goal that we wanted them to accomplish. And so this is incredibly powerful for our CSMs to be able to know that behind the scenes we're reinforcing the education that we're giving our customers without them having to take any sort of manual action. And previously this sort of thing in the past was a significantly manual process. You know, we could get the data from Totango, obviously, to see who had and hadn't done anything, but to be able to tie that to triggering an email at a minimum would have had several manual steps in between it. So super helpful to be able to automate that process and to get these sorts of results that just create this adoption lift behind the scenes without a manual touch point. The next example that I'll give is a feature release campaign, and this is where we had a little bit of unexpected benefits. So we, a couple weeks ago, launched a new feature called auto tagging, and we anticipated a very high usage rate for this new feature. It was something that added a lot of value, that we got a lot of requests for from our customer base. And you can see that we have 23% open rate, but only a 2% goal achievement, which was also only about 8% of those who opened the emails. So as this started to run, we were really surprised that we didn't have a higher goal achievement. And so what we were able to do was we dug into a bit more detail within Totango, and we huddled up with our product team, and we tried to understand what the issue was. Was it something about the email, or was it something about the way that we wrote the copy or the subject line or that? And what we actually discovered with that data, again, from Totango, was that there was an issue with the UI, and that people were getting partway through the use of the feature but weren't finishing or accomplishing the final step that we had set as the goal completion. So what it allowed us to do was actually go a step further from just notifying our customers of this new feature release, but actually quickly round up our product and engineering team, and within a day we were able to turn around a fix to the UI that made it a lot clearer and a lot more effective and a lot easier for our customers to take advantage of that feature. That's just a couple examples there. Thank you all so much for joining today. That covers what I wanted to present, but I think we're now going to open up for questions.
Great, thank you, Jamey. And so in case anyone on the audience missed the beginning, you can submit questions in the bottom left chat window. So while Jamey and Maksim review the questions, we'll go ahead and start with one of them. Maksim, someone wanted to know if they needed access to a marketing automation system, or does Totango take care of everything? Do you want to start with that question?
Sure. That's a really good question, one that we hear a lot. The answer is that you do not need access to a marketing automation system to run these customer success campaigns. That's the whole point, actually, that we wanted to give and hand this specific capability into the hands of customer success professionals. So you do not need a piece of software that sends emails out. This piece of functionality is completely native to Totango, part of our feature set, and 100% of it is available to you without any additional add-ons that you thought you might need in addition to it.
Great, thanks. And as an extension to that, just looking at some of these other questions, is they'd like to know, how do you solve the coordination issue with marketing so that you can always know which communications are going to the customer? And also then, which data, does data need to be loaded into this platform like it is for a marketing automation platform? So can you just elaborate a little bit further?
Sure. Let me elaborate on the first part, and maybe Jamey can also chime in here because I know they had to implement this and it was easy, so we can hear from him as well. But on the notion of coordinating with marketing, I would say two ways. One is the old school way. Go ahead and coordinate with marketing on campaigns that you're going to send. So if you think that you're going to be sending a campaign to a large audience of your users, definitely don't send it on the same day that your marketing team is planning to send a very different campaign to the exact same set of users, because they will just report you as spam or they will unsubscribe. And campaigns, spam laws are very strict in this country at least, so be careful on that. So avoid these kind of situations. No other thing than human coordination and a conversation with your marketing counterpart, in this case probably somebody from customer marketing, can help you in that. The second way to achieve transparency is to look in the Totango account profile. And I didn't show you that part because we were running out of time for the demo, but we collect all of the campaign targeting at the account and at the user level in the Totango profile. So if you ever wanted to share this information or be transparent across the organization around what kind of customer success communications are going out, or vice versa, we have added a separate area to the account profile that records the campaigns targeting, whether or not they were converted or achieved goal in that campaign, so that you can give your marketing team access to this application so that they can see what exactly has happened. And then with respect to sort of loading data or enabling, Jamey, would you like to take that?
Yeah, sure. And I can add a little bit to the first question as well. We very closely coordinate with our marketing team, and whenever they have planned a message that will go out to active customers, that we have a clear timing and what the message is and execution plan around that. Who's going to be the sender? Is it going to come from CSMs and that sort of thing? So I think, as you indicated, it just comes back to good internal communication to plan who's going to be communicating what and at what time and frequency. On the data side, the majority of the data that we need to execute on campaigns is already in Totango. We have the email address of the users that we want to reach, because that's what we use as our user ID, and we have all of their activity and account data that comes from either their use of TrackMaven or from data that we're pulling in from Salesforce. We had one little bit of data hygiene that we had to clean up. We had a segment of our users due to an issue on our end that we hadn't captured first and last name for and passed that into Totango. So we had to do a little bit of cleanup to increase the number of users for whom we had first and last name, so that we didn't have to rely on that fallback phrase in the email. And other than that, it was really more planning around what are the campaigns that we wanted to enable and getting the copy and the creative set up for those, and then determining how and in what order we wanted to start turning them on. So at a macro level, deciding, do we want to start with onboarding or adopting-based campaigns, and then starting to flip them on one at a time. And we're a data-driven company, and so we wanted to stick our toe in the water first and get a feel for how they work. So we didn't go and flip 100 of them on all at once. We started with one and sat there and watched it to make sure that there wasn't anything that we had overlooked in doing so.
Great, thank you both. So a question actually for you, Jamey. They would like to know who on your team at TrackMaven is responsible for owning the creating, sending, and managing the campaigns. Do you designate one person? Is it all CSMs?
Good question. No, that is a responsibility that falls within our customer success operations team. And so for those of you who don't have such a team, it's comparable to sales ops. And our director of customer success operations is the one who builds out the campaigns. He has the responsibility to notify all of the CSMs as new campaigns are being enabled, to let them know, hey, there's a new message that's going to be sent on your behalf to your customers going forward. So you might start to get responses to this sort of message. But no, this is not a responsibility that we do or would put in the hands of individual CSMs.
Great, thank you. Maksim, people are having a couple questions about the list segmentations. A couple people wanted to know about targeting specific accounts. And then if I'm going to merge another question, they wanted to know if you could actually suppress or exclude specific customers or contacts when you do select a specific segment.
Yes, yes. So let's start with targeting specific accounts. Our segmentation engine allows you to target specific accounts. So you can say, send this campaign to users with all of these criteria, right? So you can combine many different ones, and then say where account name is this, 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 and this, right? If you want to target them by name, I don't recommend that you do that. I recommend that you target specific accounts based on their account attributes. So for example, let's say that an attribute of an account called Customer Advisory Board, all right, because this account is on your Customer Advisory Board, is important to you, and you want to send a campaign about the next Customer Advisory Board that you're holding and as a part of your customer success efforts. So then what you'll do in the segmentation engine, you will go in and say, send this campaign to all key contacts in accounts where account has an attribute where they're part of Customer Advisory Board. So this is how you send to specific accounts and how you exclude some accounts. We also support, this is the second part of the question, we also support full unsubscribe, and we support loading of previous unsubscribe preferences from other systems. So for example, if your Chief Marketing Officer wants your Head of Customer Success to honor the previous unsubscribe preferences that were collected in, I'll just continue using the same example, in Marketo, then you can easily export them and import them as a user attribute into Totango using our integration hub capabilities, and no engineering needed there. And the attribute is called marketing unsubscribe. It's a user level attribute that you import. And then what happens is when you segment, even if a user meets the criteria, but if they have this unsubscribe attribute, then they will be blocked or they will not receive the campaign. There is a third method that we have implemented that's rather advanced, and let me maybe spend 5 seconds to mention it. I know we're at the very top of the hour, bottom of the hour now. So the third method is we allow you to establish a threshold of a maximum number of campaigns you want a user to receive in a given period of time. So this is another very good practice, right? Because we want to maintain good IP reputation. We want to allow you to control the number of emails that you send out, so that you can say that you don't want a user to receive more than one email per 2-week period, for example. So then if you send a new campaign and if the user ends up in segments, because they do based on criteria that you've selected, we still won't send them that campaign. And we'll give you that little yellow error message that you saw me showing to you that was kind of guiding you with some of the errors in your campaigns. Informationally, we will tell you that we won't send it to some of these users because they have reached the threshold of the number of campaigns.
Great, thank you both. I think we have run out of time to answer everyone's questions, but I would like to let everyone know that if we have not answered your questions, both Jamey and Maksim will happily follow up with you and answer the questions that were directed at them. Displayed on the screen, you'll see both Maksim and Jamey's contact information, their personal email address, and the company Twitter handles. We'd love to stay in touch with you, and we look forward to answering any other questions about customer success campaigns that you might have. Again, this recording will be sent out via email, and so I'd like to go ahead and say thank you to everyone participating today, and to Maksim and Jamey. Thank you guys.
Awesome. Thank you.
Thanks, everyone.